Next up, we got a good friend of mine, Harris Robertson. Harris Robertson in New Orleans, Louisiana, real estate investor, one of our best clients for sure, with REI Superstore, real estate agent, broker, as well. In addition to that, fully integrated his back office and now has incorporated mortgages, mortgage origination into his business as well. So super humble, super intelligent, love having conversations with him. So we want to welcome Harris Robertson in. And Harris, you want to tell us a little bit about how you got started and what caused you to become an entrepreneur?
My bad, the phone wrong. What you said? How that last part cut out.
So Harris, how you got started on your journey to entrepreneurship?
Okay, man. First of all, it's a pleasure you having me on your show, man. I know it's been a long time coming, man. You with your success, and I know you've been talking about doing something like this, man. And it's an honor and a pleasure just to be, you know, a participant on your show and sharing my story with you. But
Thank you.
as far as how I got started, you know, just coming up, you know what I'm saying, as a New Orleans kid, just in poverty, trying to find his way without having any guidance, like talking about it. Just kind of like just a statistic, you know, normally a regular normal black guy.
Mm-hmm.
I graduated from high school, and I went on to college, and then I got into electronics because that's kind of like what my mom, like my dad, he was kind of like absent, you know, pretty much my entire life. But one thing I did know about him, he was good with computers, from what my mom told me. So that's kind of like the path that I took, not really having no male figure in my life. So I kind of went to Delgado Community College, a little community college in the city, and picked up electronics engineering. Then I got on at Walmart, kind of like as a tech guy over there, kind of doing their computer stuff. And then that was kind of my first taste of the real W-2 life, the real work 9-to-5 life, you know what I'm saying? And then once I got into it, I realized real quick, like this ain't it.
Yeah.
Like,
what about it? What about it let you know that 9-to-5 life wasn't for you?
Most of all, I don't know, just something about me. I don't like people telling me exactly what to do all the time. You know, I'm a real humble guy, and I do follow direction. I know how to, you know, hierarchy and how things are supposed to play out. But at the same time, just having a boss and just having people, you know, tell you to do different things, and kind of like you're a little slave, you know, in lack of better words, you know what I'm saying? It just didn't fit right with me. Like, I just knew there was more to life than just having people boss you around all the time, just to make the little 15. I was actually jumped out and made I was making like $22 an hour, you know, on my first gig. Well, that wasn't really my first gig, but that was my first real job, you know what I'm saying, after college.
Gotcha. And this is in New Orleans?
Yep, in New Orleans. I used to be a network technician for Walmart corporate office. I used to go around to all the different Walmarts throughout the city and even throughout the state, pretty much, and work on the computer systems and stuff like that, you know.
Got it. All right. So, man, what's next? What was the next step leading up to this, to where we are now?
Well, after that, like, I got my first taste of being an employee. They actually had a layoff to where that was around 2008. You know, when the crash happened and everything, and the recession was going on. I was still fresh out of college, not really knowing what was going on, and, you know, not really knowing about the economy and everything. And I think Barack was just getting elected, as a matter of fact, because I remember that. And so they was actually doing like a like a layoff or a restructuring where they wanted you to go on the road. They were selling their company, their internal company, to a private company, and they wanted you to go out on the road and to all the Walmarts and fix all their systems throughout the road. So me, being a New Orleans kid from the hood, not really knowing about traveling and everything, not really wanting to leave your house, you was familiar to you. I didn't want to leave, so I decided just to take the severance pay, and that was kind of like the first step into becoming an entrepreneur, because they actually provided like a exit coach, so to speak. I had never even heard of something like this, but it was a company that kind of helped you transition into your next career path. And then this guy, I told him I wanted to be an entrepreneur, so he kind of gave me the gist of what it was to become an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying?
Was he an entrepreneur to give you that type of advice?
No, he wasn't. He was really kind of direct me into being just a W-2 employee again.
Yeah,
But
okay.
he was kind of steer me away, kind of scare me, you know what I'm saying? But it was still exciting to me, the little stuff that he did explain. So after that, I had a little money from the severance, you know what I'm saying? Maybe then they gave me like $6,000 or something like that. I was still staying with my mom, you know what I'm saying? So I was kind of doing all right, you know what I'm saying? I had just bought a Corvette, I was like a little young kid out here just living good
What
with a
age
little
you
money in his
talking?
pocket.
And what age you talking? How old are you?
I would think I was like 2008, I was like 20, 19, 20 or something like that, 21.
Okay.
So after that, I decided to get my real estate license. But that was actually kind of like the bad time to get your license, you know what I'm saying? Because we was actually in a recession, and the housing bubble had just burst. But I had got my license, you know what I'm saying? And went to the classes and everything, and then got on with the company and kind of learned the game from the ground up, from the hard times when nothing was really moving, and you had to really get out here and knock on doors, and didn't have no social media like talking about it. So you really had to find clients. And then being young in the game, it was really kind of tough. So I had to go back to being a W-2 employee, actually. You know what I'm saying? I had wind up getting up.
Okay, so this is good. So describe what that what those emotions was, what that look, felt, and smelled like, to have that freedom for that period of time, and then leading up to and searching for a job and getting hired on and going back to that W-2 with that taste of freedom.
Man, it was kind of upsetting. It was kind of a taste of a failure, you know what I'm saying? Because you think once you get into real estate, it wasn't what I expected, because I expected, when you think real estate, you think investor. So I thought I was gonna be an investor, thinking they're gonna just feed you clients, and I was gonna start buying houses and flipping houses. But it's really an entirely different thing. You're really just a sales rep. So, but I did have a lot of freedom. You know what I'm saying? It felt good. And once I went back to being a W-2 employee, it was just, it was a down. I wasn't really depressed, but it was like a new challenge. You know what I'm saying? It was like let your beard grow. You know what I'm saying? Don't really get your hair cut type of time.
Right.
Like, you ain't really worrying about too much. You just trying to grind it out. It was just a grind time. So, but I don't really regret none of it, because all of it kind of led up to me being who I am now, and my successes and my experiences and my uniqueness that I done acquired from going through those different experiences. So,
I'm glad you said that, because when you're in the midst of the grind and you're in the middle of that gap of where you want to be and where you were and where you are now, like it feel like that's the end of the world when you're in the middle of it. So what you saying is that ended up being your strengths where you are right now, the challenges you went through during that gap moment?
Yeah, I would say for sure. Looking back, it was a tough time in your life. You know what I'm saying? In my life, but it wasn't that bad. You know what I'm saying? Because me being an athlete, you know, I always kind of embrace the grind.
Mm-hmm.
And being from the hood and never really having no money from jump, you know what I'm saying? I could really like I come up on sugar bread and water, you know what I'm saying? And the whole summer with no food while your mom at work, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it wasn't really that tough. It was tough as far as, you know, like you're not really getting what you want as far as the money and accomplishing the successes in the past that you had took out on. But you know, I understood the grind. You know what I'm saying? Because I come from nothing, so it wasn't really hard to go back to. You know, kind of struggling. But
Gotcha.
I went to. Long story short, I went to work and I picked up. But really, I mean, like on my first job, a skill that I picked up was like one thing about me. I don't know. I always turn my W-2 job into a business for some reason. Like, and I got that from Walmart because just he had a book that they sent out to all the employees or something called, you know, the Walmart Sam Walton or something like that, where he talk about how he came up with his philosophy and he just put everything like in one spot like he did. He just did everything, and that was how you really cut costs. So when I was doing fixing the computers and stuff, like I used to have a lot of people approaching me that work for Walmart to come to their house and fix the computers and to mount their TVs and the you know, do little technical stuff around their house. So I kind of that was my first really taste of entrepreneurship before real estate really. And
And
so
that book is Sam Walton Made in America. I just Googled it.
right,
Yeah,
right,
in case anybody
yeah,
want to grab it. And Jeff Bezos actually mentioned that book in his book, The Everything Store, of how he ended up building out Amazon to sell everything in one spot, just like Walmart. So that's good.
yeah,
So great minds think alike. You thinking like Jeff Bezos.
yep. And that's kind of my concept now, man, because I picked up. I already had the electronic skills, so I took that from Walmart and transitioned that into a business to high tech services, to where I go to your house and kind of mount TVs and fix computers, and pretty much the Walmart concept I did. I took uh Best Buy's Geek Squad and combined that with like a IT service as well. So
Mhm.
I did kind of like computer networking for you, computer repair, screen repairs, virus removals, and everything. That was kind of like my first taste of entrepreneurship. So once I started that business, which I never stopped that business, I'm actually still in that business. I I, I got on that, and then I got my real estate license. That didn't really work out. And then, well, I never really lost my real estate license. I kept it and uh
Okay.
kept going inactive for a little while, and I kept on with my continuing education, and until I really got the gist of how it works. So after that, I got on with Direct TV, and I started doing cable, and that was another terrible experience. You know what I'm saying? As a W-2 job, that kind of reassured me that I didn't. This ain't this ain't it. You know what I'm saying? This ain't what I want to do. So
What about it, man? Direct TV good, bro.
man, the the guy that was training me actually was a killer. He killed two people like a real murderer.
Right. Literally like a freestyle rapper killer. Like,
No, like this dude killed two people before.
oh,
He sell
oh.
cocaine. I'm like, how the hell I get out of all the people in the world? I'm riding in the truck with this dude. He telling me stories about how he wake up in the middle of the night thinking about the dude he killed. I'm like, dog. I'm like, bro, I'm like, you really killed somebody. I'm thinking you playing like this dude. Like, yeah. I'm like, he think it's like. I'm like, but this is like some New Orleans stuff, you know what I'm saying? So I'm
Yeah,
like,
I get it.
bro, and then this, like, that was like the first thing. I'm like, man, I don't really want to be here. And then I'm going around and hooking up, climbing on roofs in the attics, running cable. It was a tough job, but I learned a lot though. You know what I'm saying? The people was terrible. You know what I'm saying? The managers was dictators, bossy. You know what I'm saying? So it was an all around bad experience. So but I did pick up how to cable certifications and how to install, electronics a little bit further. So now I added that to my high tech service business. So now I install cable and satellites and direct TV. So while I'm working with them, I still had my business high tech services. So I started marketing online. So they had this company called 365 Electrician from California. He called me and he was like, man, I got a contract with these apartments in New Orleans and these condos downtown to hook up their direct TV and service their system, and I'll pay you X amount of dollars for every work order. So I'm like, oh yeah. So I'm like, that was my other out. So I actually went home one day. I was like, man, I was fed up with DirecTV. The manager, one day I just got finished installing the system. And then the manager, I went home, took a bath, and the manager was like, man, I need you to come back out and do some and hook up another system, like 7 o'clock at night. I'm like, man, you know what? I went out and did it. But the next day, I was like, I ain't even go to work. I just called them and I said, man, I quit. And I'm like, man, just come get y'all van.
Oh man, dude.
So I left her. I even bring their van to them, man, because I knew like it was gonna be a issue. You know what I'm saying? Because them dudes were thugs, like you know what I'm saying.
Damn.
So
Okay.
I just wrote a note like, man, like I quit. This is my resignation. Put it in the truck, and then like a day later they come pick the van up. You dig? I ain't even say nothing. So that was that. So I started working with this company, hooking up direct TV on my own through my company for apartments and condos and stuff. I'm rolling good, you know.
So so at this point, this you like leaving another 9 to 5. So you got Walmart out the way. Now you acting out direct TV, and now you just basically getting back on the entrepreneur path.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right, I follow you.
I'm thinking this is like my big break, you know what I'm saying? This is what I've been praying for. I'm like, yeah, finally out here I'm making enough money to really like support myself, like from my own business, finally. So I'm rolling with it. I'm getting jobs back and forth, running them, hooking up the direct TV for myself. He's sending a check, I'm sending out the invoices. Boom, boom, boom. Then all of a sudden he called like, man, I lost the contract. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn. So like I'm out of a gig, you know, again. So entrepreneurship. So at this point I got my own apartment, got my old lady, and got a kid. So I'm like, man, I'm looking at her. She looking at me. I'm like, man, he canceled the contract, man. We gotta figure it out now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling her, I'm like, man, you know what? I ain't like that was the last time. Like I ain't doing it no more. I'm just gonna get a job and just work regular, you know what I'm saying? I ain't messing with this business stuff no more.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So luckily prayed up, you know, I'm a heavy prayer. So I got on with ADT, hooking up security alarm system. So
And this W-2 again, or this another contract job?
This a W-2
Okay.
job. So I'm learning that, you know, another electronics field, you know, a little bit more into it all falls under low voltage electronics. So I'm learning that a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Picking that up, mastering that. So I actually told the manager that. I told him my whole story. I'm like, man, you know what? This is gonna be like my forever job.
Yeah. So
Just
you
not
thought.
knowing, like,
So you thought.
yeah, that's what I thought. Like, man, after a while, I'm like, man, same thing. I'm getting aggravated with these dudes. I just can't have these people telling me what to do all the time, and the money just ain't adding up. So I took that business and added it to high tech services. Boom, I got licensed. Started a security business. So now I'm doing security alarms, cable, installing systems,
Well,
and
you
then
think you're doing that on the side while working
on the
for
side
ADT?
while I'm working with them.
Okay,
You know,
gotcha. So you back to the Sam Walton philosophy.
right,
Yeah,
right. I'm doing the
just
package and
breaking it down.
everything.
Yeah, I like that.
So after so long, I'm still got my real estate license doing that, but it's still, my business was jumping off and working with them. I'm making some money, like, like $60,000-$70,000 a year. In between my business and ADT. So I'm like, all right, I'm all right, but it's still, it's just not enough. You know what I'm saying? Not what what I'm built for. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I got a lot more in me that I could do.
Mhm.
So one day I'm just sitting at the computer. I'm just mad. Like, I'm like, man, like, like, what do I need to do? You know what I'm saying? To really go to the next level.
Man.
So I'm playing Madden, and my cuz, one of his friends, he introduced me to him. He's a teacher, and he was big into teaching his students about this this game called Cash Flow with
Robert
Robert
Kiyosaki.
Kiyosaki.
Okay.
I done read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, but I never really like played the game before. So he actually got me to play the game, and then, like, it's basically like real estate investing and entrepreneurship, but just in a game format. So I'm like, all right, like, I know how to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know exactly what's going on. But it kind of like sparked something in me, like the
Mhm.
light bulb went off. So I'm like, I know where these deals are. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that was even before I had met you. I had met another guy working with ADT, my partner Marcus, and
Okay.
then that he kind of introduced me to to what's his name, to more homes now.
Okay.
So he gave me their link, and then I started catching some of they wholesale deals. So
Okay.
one night, I'm like, man, they sending out these great deals. But I had, in the meantime, in the midst of all that, I had activated my license maybe like 2 years prior also, while I was working with ADT, and I started just doing traditional sales, like helping people out, first time home buyers and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I had MLS access, but I never was really doing any investing. So
Mhm.
once I got wind of the wholesale deals, and I realized how under market these houses were valued, like, and I put it together with the cash flow game. So I was like, all right. So I had a little money in the bank, but I had good credit. You know what I'm saying? I I got a long story about that. That's a whole another story about. But I figured that part out in the meantime of my entrepreneurship journey, and boost my credit up, so I was able to go and take out a personal loan. So I took out a personal loan for like 20,000, and I think the deal was like for 18,000.
Mhm.
So I'm like, you know what? I ain't even never even met these dudes. I ain't even go see the house, and you kind of know that's how I roll. Like, I just kind of roll off a feeling sometimes, but it be kind of bad and good at the same time. So he's he sent out the deal, and it was like maybe like a week later, and I'm like, I was just fed up, but and I was like, man, I just applied for the loan, and they sent the loan, and they gave it to me, like, just some online stuff. So I
Mhm.
called up more. I think it was the one with the dreads. I can't think of his name now, but I'm like, man, what's the best deal you got right now? And it's the first time I even met him, first time I even talked to him. Like, that
Yeah.
was my first line to him. man, what's the best deal you got right now? It's like 7 o'clock at night. He in Miami somewhere. Like, man, I got one on 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 such and such street on Montague Street. He like 18,000. He like it been sitting on the books. I'm like, all right, all right. So I'm like, man, give me that. Like, boom. So me kind of not, that's my first deal. I was like so excited. I ain't even go look at the house. I just went and looked at the address on the MLS and I seen it. It was worth a lot more than what he had it at. So I just brought it cash. Boom. And I basically was saying, like, this is another thing, another lesson in entrepreneurship. Like, you gotta really like take risks, cause like I was really betting everything on this particular deal. Like, I spent basically all my money to buy this house.
Yeah.
So this was my first deal. So I brought it and I put it on the MLS, just trying to see what's gonna happen. So I put it up for 80, you know, just seeing what was gonna happen. Nothing happened. So I dropped it down a little, nothing happened. Dropped it down some more, nothing happened. Dropped it to like 60. Then boom, finally got a bite at 55. I'm like, oh yes. I was
18. Yeah.
yeah, I was still working at ADT. And I remember I was hooked, I was installing the alarm system, working with a guy, and I'm like, man, look at this. Look at this. He
Right.
like, what? I'm like, man, like this. Remember I was telling you I do real estate? He's like, yeah. Boom, I showed him that thing for 55. He like, ooh, like that was like the most money I ever had. So
Right.
boom, close on the deal, $55,000 in my account. I was on then. Boom. Then that's when brought another one from him. Like, well, it was like 23. Turn around, put it on the MLS, doing no work. This was a hotel deal, and I think I kind of, at the time, I thought I invented something, but I really didn't. But it was just so by me having access and just my knowledge of being an entrepreneur and how things work, and I think it was really that cash flow game that just sparked something in me to really just take that risk and just do it. So brought it for 23, put that one back on the market for like, I think it was like 55, sold it for 54. Brought another one from a chick wholesaling. She, I think it was like 22, then sold that one for 60. Then that's when I run across you. You know what I'm saying? Then I brought one from you for like 35 or something, put it back on the market and sold it for like, I think like 43. And like it was just moving real like that one year, bro. Like I think I did it like maybe like 3 or 4 times, and I helped two of my partners do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what really kicked me off into full-fledged entrepreneurship, that real estate. Then I in the meantime wound up coming across some doubles. Oh my baby girl. And knowing you, coming across another investment property. So, you know, it's really about taking risks, you know what I'm saying, and and just taking what you have and just applying it, sticking it to what you already got, to the new, taking the new stuff and just just keep building on, you know what I'm
What you
saying?
mean by that?
Because that's basically what I just kind of stumbled through entrepreneurship. I never really kind of had no mentor, no format that I really followed. I just kind of winged it. Like all the time, I'll tell somebody my dreams, and they'll be like, "Man, you can't do that." Like
Wow.
I remember telling my mom, like I'm like, "Man, I want to be rich, and I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to have a big house and a nice car." And this, she like, "You can't do that. You, the white man gonna hold you back." I'm like, "What?" You know what I'm saying? Like she was just like just so down. She talked, but being from the hood, that's just how they talk. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
she just never had any faith that anybody could really accomplish anything. And
Yeah.
then like another thing that really stuck with me, man. Like the one memory that I had with my dad, like when I was a kid, I was about 7 years old. He took me to go shopping, and we went to like Toys R Us, bro, like buku toys. I mean, like maybe like like filled up the whole Christmas tree, and we by my grandma's house. So he was kind of like in that crack era, so he was on drugs, you know what I'm saying? But I ain't really understand what was going on. So
Mm-hmm.
come Christmas Day, I ain't got no toys under the tree.
Damn.
So I'm like, what happened to my toys? I know I had something. Grandma like, your dad and took all them toys back to the store. He had to go get that money and do something with it. He done smoked all the money up. I'm
Damn.
like, oh. So that was really like, I think that was really like what made me like kind of become self-sufficient right there. Cause
Mm.
I kind of like knew if I wanted something, like I'm gonna have to really do it. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna really be able to rely on nobody to really give you nothing.
But
But but the support though, like to speak on that aspect though, man, like that's real important. I think through the journey, like getting people to actually give you bits and pieces of information and actually help you, give you a hand up when you're looking for it.
and what advice you give to the people that feel like they don't have a support group around them? So if they feel like any and everybody in the environment is negative, we don't believe in excuses, so you can't use that as an excuse. So what
Right.
advice would you give to them to build that support group to help them accomplish their goals?
I would say, man, from my own experience, you gotta really step out your comfort zone and
Mm.
reach out to people that's bigger than you. Like, you can't be scared to to open your mouth. Like they say, closed mouth don't get fed. Like the squeaky, like you told me that, like the squeaky wheel get the air, huh?
Man, I ain't say that, man.
You ain't tell me that.
that's, that's an old
Somebody
uncle.
told me that.
That's an
You know
old uncle.
what I'm saying? So that's
Now I heard it
basically
before
saying,
though.
man, you gotta ask.
Yeah,
You gotta, yeah, you gotta, man. If you ask, like it'll be supplied, just like God said. That's the first step.
yeah, for sure. Man, before we wrap up, I really want to go a little bit deeper uh, with your mindset and your philosophy on kind of stealing ideals, and like methodologies from corporate jobs you worked, um, and applying it to your, small business. Uh, Touch on a little bit more about what you stole from the corporate world and incorporated into your business that's kind of giving you a competitive edge in your business right now.
Okay, that's a good question. I think that I stole a lot from the corporate world, from from to keep it all the way 100, from their paperwork, from their structures, the systems, from pretty much everything, man. And from my whole business, from the customer retention, um, like from the corporate world is is real structure. It's about it's about a lot of it's about a lot of systems to
Mm,
control everything.
mm,
So I really I really need to to uh to kind of create better systems. Like I really admire you about that, you know what I'm saying? But I know that's the way to go, like, because they always have they compartmentalize everything.
mm.
So you can really do a lot if you break everything down into like little small little small sections.
What's the example of that?
Like far as like take Walmart example.
Mm,
Like they got a vision center, and they got a damn a nail shop in their store. In one section they got clothes, another section they got food. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? So at the same time, that's like you would think that would be complicated to kind of structure all that, but it's really just small sections. So I kind of like take that same philosophy, like like as far as my tech business. I got the alarm side of it, well, I could really separate that from everything to where it's not affecting any other parts of the business.
Right.
And say as far as like direct TV, they real good on their customer service as far as like doing whatever the customer say, you know what I'm saying? So they get a lot of customers from just being a yes man. And I know in business you gotta be a yes man to kind of get the conversation started. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what I took from them. And from ADT, they they what I took from them is like they strategists. Like they really from the inside looking out, they they're a monopoly, you know what I'm saying? They have a lot of smaller businesses like the ABC Alarm Company, AVG Alarm Company, USA Alarm Company. But it's really all under ADT. It's really an umbrella. So their strategy is kind of like the kind like you create the illusion of competition, but you're
Hmm.
really competing with yourself. So that's what I learned from them. I like that.
That's actually true.
Like you create another company to compete with your own company to
Mm.
kind of drive the market, and I kind of implemented that in my systems as far as the real estate, you know what I'm saying? Because with the mortgage, now that I'm doing mortgages and I'm a realtor, you know what I'm saying? I'm kind of hitting it from both sides, you know.
Gotcha. Man, all that's good information, man. I'm gonna steal that from each one of those companies, ADT, uh, Walmart, and Direct. So, what's your goals now, man? So you full fledged entrepreneur right now. So what you doing right now, and what's your goals?
Man, my goals are to make $1 million. That's been my goal since I was about 17. I want to make $1 million in 1 year.
Okay,
Just putting it out there in the ether.
look
But
at
I
that.
really need to. I'm gonna build my mortgage business, and eventually create a my own mortgage company
Okay.
and my own real estate company, and eventually start hiring uh, out other mortgage uh, originators and hiring some agents on my team, and
Mm-hmm.
then also hiring some uh, some technicians for my security company.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's
And
kind of my three pillars.
good stuff, bro. Before we wrap up, so what do you think is filling that gap between where you are now and where you want to be after everything you described? What's some hindrances keeping you from that?
I think finding the right support system, like you say. Like if you at this point, now that everything's built, you got to start finding a team to actually help you build it. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's probably and the systems. That's probably the biggest roadblock right now. And
Yeah.
really, probably the thing that holds that back is having the capital of being brave enough to put it out there
Yeah.
to actually hire a team before you actually you know uh, have a steady cash flow like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Good stuff, man. Well, we here to help. That's why I consult at systems and HR. So we'll put it together and we'll do a follow up show on our progress on that. So um, anybody want to get in touch with you, man? What's your social media network you prefer the most for people to reach out to you?
I like Facebook. That's kind of my thing because you can share a lot more information in the Facebook groups and everything. You could just search me on Harris Robertson on Facebook. I'm
Okay.
also on Instagram as Harris Robertson, but I don't do too much action on Instagram, not just yet. you know. But I'm gonna start building that pretty soon. Once I get some more free time.
Gotcha. And to wrap up, man, what advice you got? If you had an opportunity to talk to your 18-year-old self, what advice would you give 18-year-old Harris Robertson?
Man, I'm actually writing a little book that I'm gonna give to my son or my kids. That I have a lot of advice that I'm gonna give to them, and I'm gonna just read for all the entrepreneurs out there. Some just probably like the first page of some advice.
Okay.
Man, the dudes you start with are rather the dudes you finish with. The key to happiness is love. Sometimes hate can be the best love. Money is the best drug. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. You hear the book coming out probably in about 4 5 more years.
We'll be on the lookout. We'll be on the lookout, man. But man, appreciate your time, bro. I know you're a busy man. We appreciate you having you. Hopefully, people could resonate with that story and they'll know that they're not alone. You share the same feelings that a lot of people share each and every day, right? So that's the purpose of what we're doing today. So thank you for your time, bro. Appreciate you.
Man, I appreciate you having me on, big brother.
All right.
You have a wonderful day, man. Keep it up. Great show.